of the business paper of the meeting.
Okay.
However, the confidential minute shell that we've sent you does include the recommendation that was provided to the panel, and once there has been a decision made, that is what will become public.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I just wanted to check. So I am going to mention that we have 2 other items because it's referenced on the business paper, but they're going to be confidential and because they're about legal matters. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure people, there's no point in mentioning of it if it's not even shown on the business paper, but it is what you're saying.
It is, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
There's notification that it is, yes.
Okay. And we have so we only had the ones you've already told me about. We don't have any objectors?
No. Only the applicants or proponents have been invited, and they do have them waiting in the lobby. So when you're ready, let me know.
All right. Yep. Let them in. Yeah. Thank you. Everyone else is ready? Is David here? Or is it? Oh, what? Oh, no. We can see you now.
And everyone else.
Oh, no, Julian.
You 2 are on. I'm trying to turn it on, but I can't turn the camera on. So
that's weird. It was working before.
I went in and out again too, and I couldn't get. It didn't change. So
can you assist Bryony? Any clues of how to help Julian?
We don't have an option for turning his on or off, unfortunately. It might be something in the background, but if you'd like to possibly screenshot and send it to me, I can try to assist.
I'll just go out and in again.
Okay, certainly.
All right. We'll just confirm that all our panel members can access the meeting, and then we'll start.
Yes, here.
Okay, thank you. We'll just see if Julian can come back in again.
No worries.
You seem to have a lot of people.
Here's Julian.
Are we all good, Julian?
For some reason, I don't know why I'm not getting the camera.
You've got a little question mark on your name, which is a bit. Everyone else has got
as an unverified.
Oh, okay.
That's.
I don't know why I can't get my name.
I don't know why this is happening.
Sorry, everyone.
It's a mystery.
Technical issues. You're going to try again? Okay, Julian's on his way back in.
Julian's back in. Still no camera.
Oh, all right. I don't know. Do you have any? Are there any young people to give you IT assistance?
No, not near me.
No.
How about dialing in? Would that help? There's probably a phone number to dial in, and you can be part of the meeting.
I mean, he's still part of the meeting. It's just we can't see him.
So the old link doesn't work, right? It's just you're going to be using the new link, yeah? Is that right? The one that was sent?
There was no link in the original placeholder meeting. So the link that is in the 12 p.m. that came from Sarai is the Teams link.
Okay, that's what I've used, and I'm still not happening.
If the panel is happy for you to attend without that camera option, we're happy to proceed.
Yeah, I think we'll have to. Sorry about that, Julian. I don't know.
Don't know what's happening at my end here.
Okay, we did just have a briefing before this meeting, and we could see Julian, so something's happened in between time. Sometimes it's to do with cache. If you clear the cache on your computer, I found this happen before with me. But anyway, we better make a start. So sorry about that delay, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to this meeting of the Central Coast Local Planning Panel on Thursday, the 19th of March 2026, and the time is 12:06 p.m. We acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land in which we live, work and play. We pay our respects to the Darkinjung country and elders past and present. We recognise the continued connection to these lands and waterways and extend this acknowledgement to the homelands and stories of those who also call this place home. We recognise our future leaders and the shared responsibility to care for and protect our place and people. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded and webcast, and as required by the operational procedures for the local planning panel, there is to be no other recording or filming of this meeting and no AI note-taking. Following this meeting, the panel will meet separately to confer and discuss each of the items on the agenda and formulate our decisions. The panel's decisions from the meeting and the audio recording should be available on Council's website ordinarily within 7 days of the meeting. If everyone just make sure they have themselves on mute, and when they're speaking, if they could make sure they have any mobile phones and devices turned off. Please turn off your microphone to mute unless it is your time to speak, and then put it back on mute when you're finished. The panel members are here, but as ideally we'd have our cameras on, but unfortunately we've got a technical difficulty with Julian. But for all the other attendees, we don't need to have your camera on unless you're speaking. We also ask if you could refrain from entering comments into the chat box. The chat box may be used to advise the Secretariat of any technical issues, but any comments made in the chat box will be deleted and not considered. So welcome to the meeting. My name is Heather Wharton. I'm the chair of this panel meeting. We have other expert members with us today, David Furlong, Lindsay Day, and Julian Ardas. We can hear him but not see him, is the nominated community panel member. David and Lindsay are expert members. We have no apologies from anyone else. Today we have a planning proposal and 2 development applications. There was a 3rd development application that's shown on the agenda. That was DA 1974/2023/A, which was for a modification to a dwelling in-ground pool, retaining walls, new dwelling at 1 Yumbool Close, Foresters Beach. That was listed on the agenda, but the applicant has withdrawn that application, so it won't be considered by the panel. So we have our 2 DA applications. We also have 2 confidential items, which are the subject of Land and Environment Court proceedings. For 757 and 9 Bent Street, the entrance, and 58 to 62 Araluen Drive, Hardy's Bay. Those are, as I said, confidential items, and the panel deliberates on those matters in closed session. So with our applications, we either make a determination for approval or refusal or deferral, and it's possible that the panel may make a different decision than recommended by council staff. For the planning proposal application we have, a panel's role is to advise the council as to whether the application should proceed or not to Gateway. If we do defer in matter, it's possible the panel may subsequently determine the application by electronic means without another public meeting. After hearing from the speakers, we may ask questions of the speakers, and there usually is no other debate other than when we're asking questions. We need to clarify just if there are any conflicts of interest. So the panelists have been requested to put in a form confirming that they have no conflicts. I believe that's been done for all the items, for all the panel members. I'll just clarify that now as to whether panel members have any conflicts. David?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Lindsay?
No conflicts.
Julian?
No conflicts.
Thank you. And I don't have any conflicts with any of the items either. The second item on our agenda is the confirmation of the previous meeting of the panel, which was the meeting of the 19th of February. And those minutes of those meetings, the minutes of that meeting has been submitted for this panel to confirm and note. So now we can move to our items. We welcome everyone who is here to speak. The meeting is an opportunity for the panel to hear from members in the community. In this case, we don't have any objectors. We only have the applicants, and to ask questions, as I've already said. Before you speak, could you please give us your name, the organisation or group or party that you represent? Applicants' representatives are given 15 minutes to speak. Please be silent while everyone's speaking, and keep in mind there's to be no personal criticism directed at any council officers, any other speaker, the panel or any other people who aren't here. And please do not denigrate others to make your point. This does nothing to advance the panel's understanding of the matters. Also, please be aware that this is a public meeting and is also being recorded, and you're responsible for your own comments. Once we've heard from the speakers, we'll close the meeting and the decision will be made public in a few couple of days. The decisions of the panel are by majority vote. However, the chair does have a casting vote if necessary. We have had site inspections undertaken by visual means from a briefing with the council, and we have been briefed. We were briefed on Tuesday and also this morning on the applications before us, and we have received all the public submissions that were made on the applications. So getting to the actual items. So the first item is 3.1, which is a planning proposal RZ03 2025 for 31 and 41 Kimalaroo Avenue, Lake Marmora, which was a request to amend the Central Coast Local Environmental Plan 2022 to allow rezoning for, I think it's RE1, private recreation, which is for the purposes of a future manufactured home estate. We have been briefed on it, this matter. We have the officer's report. We did ask if the proponent's representative could attend, and I believe Anna Klein-Muhleman is here.
Yes, I am here, and I've also got Sharon Lindner from Landstone Property Group, who is the developer and landowner of one of the parcels.
Okay, sorry. So Sharon, how could I see your name? Are you on the screen?
Yes, hi. Hello, Sharon Lindner from Landstone.
Landstone. So how do you spell your last name?
Lin.
Yep.
DTNER.
Okay, thank you. Only because we need to report in the minutes who have heard from. So are you going to present something to us, or how did you want to proceed?
We do have a sort of a brief PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
We've put together. I understand that council's already presented their part. Is that's already happened?
Yeah, we have had quite a long discussion. We did have a lot of questions. We probably still have some more questions. We have had a briefing like today and Tuesday. So we do know a bit about what's proposed. So yeah. But
I just wanted to make sure that you'd seen their presentation before ours, but I didn't.
Yeah, we have.
What they had.
We definitely have. We have.
In theirs, in ours, just for briefness. So I will jump into that. I'm pressing the share button, and I did practice this beforehand, but it's not bringing me up any options. I don't know whether you need to stop sharing so I can share.
Oh, maybe.
Potentially my screen. Let me attempt that again. Technical difficulties, hey? Why is it not letting me?
Can we offer any assistance? Any handy hints, Sarai or Bryony?
Sorry, this was working 10 minutes ago when we
Anna, we can't
practiced it
see why
on
you can't. As an attendee, you should be able to share on there. We have had the same thing earlier today where one could and one couldn't. So if you would like to send it through to the local planning panel at centralcoast.com.au, we'd be happy to display that for you.
Okay, I will do that right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, 5 minutes ago, this was working seamlessly.
It always happens.
It's the introduction of the third party, I think, that's the problem.
What was the email address there?
Local planning panel, one word, at Central Coast, one word.
newsouthwales.gov.au.
Julian, you're back.
Oh, okay. Well done.
Thank you. I worked it out. Didn't need a young person.
Younger person.
I can ring you in future.
Very good. Now, do you know about sharing screens? Because we've got another technical
No,
difficulty.
no.
Oh.
Just sent that, so hopefully it pops up in a second.
Thank you.
Hopefully I got it correct, Anna. It's local planning panel.
I think that's what I typed in. Local planning panel, yes.
Might be just taking some time to come through the system. If you wouldn't mind checking that email address. No, we've got it.
You've got it. Fantastic.
Opening, getting ready to display now.
Thanks everyone, that's good. Perfect. Okay, so all right, we'll ignore those technical glitches. We'll just launch into it. Like I said, we've tried not to repeat, a lot of the stuff that was in council's presentation just to save, time and for everyone. But yeah, the first slide, we've just sort of introduced the site there. So our site is, you can just flip to the next one. Yes, thank you. 31 and 41 Camillaroo Avenue, Lake Munmora. The site area is about just under 4.5 hectares and a current zoning of RU6 transition. On that land, it's currently vacant with one residential dwelling down towards the southeastern corner. And as you can see from that image, surrounding that site is existing manufactured home estates to the west, the Lake Munmora Foreshore Reserve, and then Lake Munmora to the south. existing low density R2 residential land and Crown land also to the east, and then Lake Marmora Bowling Club, and then some recreation facilities further east, and Lake Marmora Shopping Centre, which has supermarkets and specialty stores across Pacific Highway to the north. Okay, the next slide. This is just a brief history of where we've come from, and this application predates both Sharon and myself's involvement, but originally the applicant came to council back in February, sort of 4 years ago, 2022, with a planning proposal, and that's the evolution of it. There was submitted and returned numerous times for varying different reasons. One was just that the legislation around planning proposals and policies changed. That was the first one, and then there was needed some document updates, and then some issues with the BCAR and the process of that, until we get to this point where we've sort of had ongoing consultation with council's planners and ecologists over the last sort of 18 months, and the current application was lodged in November on the planning portal last year, with the biocertification application also lodged concurrently, and that at that time. So, and the intention of the planning proposal has always been to facilitate manufactured home estates on those two lots. Number 41 would be an expansion of Lakeside Leisure Living, which is to the west, and then number 31 would be a standalone estate separate to Lakeside Leisure Living. I'd like to go to the next slide. So the intended outcomes, the objectives of our planning proposal is to provide positive housing supply and diversity and affordability outcomes within Central Coast, in a location that we believe is ideal, sort of located near our existing commercial, community and recreation facilities. To facilitate that, our zoning includes conversion of the land from RU6 to the majority RE2, which would facilitate the manufactured home estate, and then a 20-metre strip of land along the northern boundary adjacent to the Pacific Highway, which would be C2 and replanted as a corridor along the Pacific Highway there, and that's to connect existing vegetation from the west to the east to that Crown land, which is significant swift parrot habitat and corridor. Included also, we were hoping to include some additional provisions within the C2 zone, which would allow us to do some sort of minor ancillary works that are associated with the manufactured home estate, knowing that once it's C2, permissibility of works in that strip of land would become difficult. So we looked to include some provisions that would allow us to put things like walking trails, pedestrian connections, and any works that we need to do in terms of sort of berms and things to manage stormwater that needed to go in there before we revegetated it into that corridor. As you can see, I guess from the surrounding land uses, manufactured home estates are popular in the area, and certainly popular with the aging population, as an alternative to sort of conventional housing types, because they provide sort of an affordable and community style living option that they don't get elsewhere. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, the biocertification process has been running concurrently with our planning proposal application. Is currently under assessment with the department. The application aims to certify 9.26 hectares of land, with some retained lands up in the northern corner and along the northeast boundary, and that aligns with the swift parrot habitat mapping, and a tree protection zone which runs adjacent to the Crown land, which is basically to protect that vegetation when construction is happening from any edge effects and any impacts on the vegetation to the northeast. So there's no actual, although the mapping extends onto the property, there's no actual vegetation on our property along that northeastern boundary. Part of the biocertification will be to retire 15 ecosystem credits. There's no species credits, and as I mentioned before, the intention is to revegetate that buffer zone along the Pacific Highway to improve the biodiversity outcomes for the region. Next slide. So this is not sort of all inclusive of all the planning strategic documents, but we just thought we'd pull out the main ones. So the Central Coast Regional Plan identifies Lake Manmora obviously as a growth area and has specific objectives in there about providing for nimble neighbourhoods, diverse housing and sequence development, and specifically under that section is a strategy for local councils to consider appropriate locations for lifestyle villages, potentially within 800 metres of local and strategic centres. And as I noted before, the Lake Manmora local centre is directly across the road, and this site has good access to other recreation facilities and transport links there as well. The site falls under the Greater Lake Manmora Structure Plan. Under that plan, there's sort of just under 60 hectares of land with potential rezoning capacity, and the plan indicates that in the next by 2041, I think it goes to the opportunities for over 7,000 additional residents and over 3,000 additional dwellings in the area. We're located in Precinct 6, the Camillaroo Avenue precinct, which was identified for residential development for short-term release. And I know that these two lots that we're working with are the only two lots in that precinct that remain. So the rest of that precinct already has the existing manufactured home estates, the existing R2 land, and that the Crown land that's, I think, RE1 potentially that's already in the precinct. So there's no other opportunities for additional rezonings or plan proposals in this precinct. It's already at capacity other than these two sites. Also, council's strategies in terms of their ageing strategy asks us to consider specific housing needs for older people, how they might be met in a range of housing types, and council's affordable housing strategy identifies that lower income pensioners and retirees are a group that are underrepresented in housing product at the moment. And while this isn't an affordable housing development in itself, it does provide an affordable housing product, I guess, in comparison to other housing stock in the area. Next slide, please. So this is just a quick snapshot, I guess, of Lake Manmora and the demographics in the current area. So the Lake Manmora, the current median age is 50, well above the New South Wales median, and I guess consistent with the ageing population that we know is happening everywhere. So the adjacent and nearby MHEs, they do offer a variety of levels of quality and amenity and price point, and our proposal looks to contribute further to that housing product in the locality. As I guess is evident in the area, there's a solid demand for this type of housing product. It's sought after by people in sort of retirees sort of age, purely for affordability. You can downsize, you still can have social connections, and you get that sort of community feel that you don't get in other traditional, I guess, housing options. Next slide, thank you. So this brings us to just our indicative master plan for the site. Over the two lots, we've modelled that you could get sort of up to around 250, probably just under 250 dwelling lots between the two estates. The one to the north, 31 Kamilaroo Avenue, that one is controlled by Landstone. They've just purchased that site, and that's sort of the one that we've been looking at in terms of more detailed design, but it's still definitely in a work in progress. The preliminary, I guess, studies that we've done indicate that the site is well serviced, although there may be some upgrades required. Traffic is manageable under current scenarios. The intersections continue to work. When you take into consideration future growth and into the future, some of the intersections are sort of failing in at capacity, but that would be happening regardless of our development. But that's certainly something that we intend to look at as part of the DA process, and whether there's sort of, upgrades to intersections and things that could be contributed to. There is some flooding across the site, predominantly overland flows that come from Pacific Highway that run across our site, and then through Lakeside there's a leisure village. But that's been, I guess, identified as low hazard and something that can be managed on site through overland flow paths and the stormwater system. Contamination wise, there are some areas identified just due to the age of the old development there and past agricultural uses, but we've been assured that the site can be made suitable for residential uses, subject to some remediation works, and preliminary stormwater modelling has been undertaken to show that we can get stormwater off the site and over to Lake Munmora without causing any significant issues. Obviously, the detailed design is still very much underway. The layout there has been used mainly just to inform sort of the preliminary modelling, but certainly that will be more developed when we get to DA stage. Next slide, please. So some of the key inclusions of the manufactured home estate, particularly on 31 Kamilaroo Avenue, which is the one that we've been looking at more closely, is that it does offer a larger dwelling lot size than is traditionally used in some of these villages. So the minimum under the regulations is 130 square metres, whereas we'd be looking at lots between 200 and 240 square metres, just to add some additional amenity value through the village. We've also got the revegetated buffer along Pacific Highway, which I've mentioned previously, which offers biodiversity improvements as well as some visual amenity and screening outcomes from the Pacific Highway. Down on Kamilaroo Avenue, frontage. We've got some pretty generous setbacks down there with the stormwater detention basins down there as well, so you don't have dwellings here sitting right on the front boundary. And that gives some good opportunities for good landscaping outcomes and entry statements down off that frontage. Also very important to our development is pedestrian connections from the village through to the Pacific Highway and that existing shared path that runs along the highway, because that gives obviously good connections to the shops that are on the other side of Pacific Highway. Public transport routes run along there, and you can also walk through down to the recreation facilities down at Lake Munmora Bowling Club and the sporting facilities that are down there along that shared path that exists and goes directly to all those destinations. What we've found is that residents invest in manufactured home estates for the affordability, access to the on-site facilities, and that sense of community that they feel when they are part of the community. Next slide, please. This is just to show an example, I guess, of Landstone property groups, their experience in delivering manufactured home estates. This is an example of one that was recently completed in Redhead, which has some really good outcomes for the community. I think Sharon might be able to tell me, but I believe it's sort of fully sold and operational, and has some really good outcomes for the residents and the community in there.
And as you can see, we add quite a lot of recreational areas to our designs and our developments, and they're actually really well built, the construction. So the differentiation of diversity of housing from what's already adjacent to the site's important. So that's quite older stock that's been sitting there, which proves there's a market for it. It's established stock. So what we bring to the party with this development, this design, is something quite new and modern, and has an aesthetic appeal.
Yes, but I guess that's the end of our presentation. We're happy to answer any questions. We weren't quite sure, what you might want to know. So we've tried to sort of just cover sort of a range of things. We're happy to answer questions that the panel might have.
That's been very useful. Thanks very much. Appreciate that there was two. I thought it was just one big estate, but you're saying one's an extension of the existing one next door.
Yeah, so number 41 would be an extension of Lakeside Leisure, which is next door, and then number 31 is a standalone estate.
Okay. I've got a few questions, but I'll hand over to the other panel members because I know there is some interest in this application. Lindsay, do you want to talk about some of your issues?
Sure. Thank you very much for that presentation. We've had two briefings, as I think Heather mentioned. Some of my questions have been resolved, but what's the proportion of what appears to be at-ground dwellings and the motorhome style dwellings in terms of how many of the indicative 250 will be motorhomes or manufactured homes, and how many will be those at ground that formed the final photographs in your presentation?
So I'll jump in, but Sharon, you might be able to talk that as well. So Lake Macquarie, where Redhead is, they do allow a build on site, I guess, model, where I don't think Central Coast do that. So 100% would be manufactured homes. But yeah, Sharon, if that's incorrect, please.
No, that's correct. So what I've tended to do in the past, it's quite a solid build, but it's brought in because of course Central Coast don't allow you to do that. So it's similar to the construction that we've just shown you in Oasis Redhead. But it's when you differentiate between a manufactured home, there's you either construct it on site like you would with a normal residential dwelling, like the concrete slab, and manufactured homes usually sit on piers and they're brought into site and sat on footings and plumbed, and water and power are individual to the relocatable home, and that's to tick the box that it is a relocatable home.
Mm-hmm. So those last couple of photographs are not really relevant to this one, the Redhead photographs, because that construction was at ground?
Yeah, again, in a sense, it was to demonstrate, the quality of the housing that you're getting, and you're still getting a similar quality of housing even if they are manufactured off-site. But you can still make them look as though they're grounded on site and not just sort of perched in the air, sort of like in a caravan park.
Yeah, because obviously if you're going to do at-ground construction, really your whole flood model would have to change from what is indicated in the planning proposal at this stage. Just able to elaborate, in the planning proposal it talks about 100 vehicles per hour circulating around the site and accessing to and from the local road system. A couple of questions, if you're just able to talk about how the access will flow, etc. Is there provision for, what is the planned provision for parking, cycleways? Are there pathways in the internal road system, etc.? Just a bit of information on that would be helpful.
Yeah, certainly, the detailed design hasn't been finalised yet, and those layouts were used for making some assumptions for the initial modelling. Each dwelling would be provided with a car parking space in accordance with the requirements of the regulations, and then visitor parking around the community centre and along the periphery of the development as well. In terms of internal footpaths, I don't have the answer to that question on hand. I'm not sure whether it's been determined to that level of detail as yet.
That will be definitely part of the DA process, which is a more detailed design, which will come to council. So this is just a really overall indication of the rezoning. So there's a lot more design detail to come.
And do your other manufactured home estates have footpaths in addition to roadways so that pedestrians and others can access and circulate in the site safely?
There's no concrete footpaths. I'd have to go in and have a look at the last couple that we've done to answer that. If I can come back to you on that, that would be good, just to see what we've done in different local areas.
Yeah, and I don't know, but I think probably potentially not, just given the street widths and things like that. But I guess the road the speed limit within these estates is very low, sort of 10 to 20 kilometres per hour. So often residents will just use the road to circulate within the village.
And also, although I think it was a question of Heather's, I'll run with it anyway. What are the arrangements for the safety of residents in flood and fire emergencies? You know, it's a lot of people, older people, not all necessarily able-bodied. What is the approach on that? There's not anything on that in the planning proposal as it stands.
There's not, in terms of, I guess, evacuation or shelter-in-place strategies. They haven't been developed yet, but there is, I guess, a bushfire assessment that's been submitted that shows that it's compliant with the requirements of Planning for Bushfire 2019 in terms of evacuation routes back down to Camillaroo Avenue. For flooding, it was being designated as low hazard. So my assumption, and I don't know this to be the final outcome, but it would be a sheltering in place type scenario. But that can certainly be fleshed out in more detail as part of DA documentation.
Yeah,
and
mainly,
just
sorry.
You go.
It's mainly overland flow that comes across the site because it leans down from, slopes down from the Pacific Highway, which can be addressed and will be addressed for when we do the civils for the proposed development layout.
And the location of the 8,000 kilowatts substation, is that adjacent to the proposed community area or somewhere else on the site?
I'm undetermined at this point. I think the advice from the power guys was that it may be required, so there's still some further investigations into the capacity that is required, where it needs to be. That hasn't happened at this point yet.
And finally, I think currently there are 3 dams on the site, and I believe that it's not 100% clear as to how they will be managed in the future. And I know the demographic is an older demographic, but I'm just wondering if the dams are retained, whether there'll be some sort of safety and fencing so that residents and their visitors are not at risk of falling into dams and drowning, etc.
Sure. I think the main dam, which is on the 41 Camillaroo Road, that I believe that's retained, and then we're putting basically a new detention basin, which would be down in the southeastern corner. Look, they're not typically fenced, but we can certainly look at options to improve safety around those things. In other proposals that we've looked at, they've actually formed quite an important part of the sort of the recreational area. And I don't not so much in this one on 31, but potentially on 41 when they get through to detailed design. They often form part of a sort of a nice sort of vegetated walking area and recreation area that people can go and sit and walk through. They haven't traditionally been fenced, but they're not, I don't know, they're not sort of a sharp drop off generally from sort of where you are to into the dam. But we can certainly look in terms of the design and whether we need to put some fencing some fencing around those to improve safety.
And very lastly, sorry, and then I'll hand over to the other experts. We've heard this morning that the owner that previously was wanting his small area excised, that situation has changed and now the entire site has been purchased. Is that the case?
That is correct. Yeah. So our initial proposal, due to some historical commercial agreements, the existing owner wanted to keep his house on a lot down in the southeastern corner. There was always a possibility that there would be a stage 1B that would purchase that back off him and then re-amalgamate that back into the manufactured home estate. But in recent weeks, that whole site has been purchased unconditionally. I think it's due to settle in the coming weeks. Sharon, you might have some more information on that.
Does that then mean that you may be looking at changing we've got a planning proposal that has a different control for that small area and a different control for the rest of the site. So that may mean that the planning proposal may be amended even at this stage, if not now, very shortly.
Well, we wouldn't need the subdivision clause that we had proposed to put it in there, so that we wouldn't need to include that under the planning proposal. The rest of it would remain as is.
Okay. All right. Thanks. That's all from me.
Thank you. Thanks. Julian or David?
No, thanks, Madam Chair.
Yes, Chair. A question I have is, I understand this is just a planning proposal and it's called conceptual, but I'm just wondering if you could elaborate on the key stakeholders you've liaised with and what the issues were and how that's informed your planning proposal.
Sure. I'll do the best I can in this, having not been on board from the beginning. Obviously, the adjacent manufactured home estate, the owners of them are party to the planning proposal, so they've had some input. We've also spoken to subsidence advisory. I don't know that any sort of more holistic community engagement has happened or stakeholder engagement. We would expect that would happen as part of the post-gateway process in terms of liaising with the state authorities and things like that. So yeah, to the best of my knowledge, there hasn't been extensive consultation to this date.
And in terms of statutory agencies and issues they've raised, what are your comments there?
Sorry, very faint, but not only the service providers essentially in terms of providing some input into the services that are available. There hasn't been further consultation.
And emergency services?
No. We would expect all that to happen, either during obviously definitely during the post-gateway consultation, but also during the DA process as well in terms of the detailed design and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of those agency all the stakeholders you mentioned, so what are some of the key issues that you recall them raising and considered?
So based on the preliminary reporting that we've had done, we know that intersection upgrades may be a requirement in the future and as part of this development. As I mentioned earlier, this development on its own doesn't trigger upgrades. The intersections still function, but based on natural growth in the area, those intersections of, and I can't remember the names of the streets, but the two that run through to Pacific Highway nearby, those intersections, particularly for right turns, will fail regardless of this development. We're aware of that and know that there might be some contribution to intersection upgrades required. We have been told that services are available, water and sewer run through Coolaroo Avenue and are available for connection and have capacity for this development. As was just hinted to earlier, there are probably some electrical upgrades that need to happen. The full nature of those at this point hasn't been determined. In terms of other, like I mentioned, we haven't spoken to other statutory agencies other than Subsidence Advisory, who had no concerns. So I don't know if that answers your question. Sorry, but yeah, there's still, we acknowledge there's still work to do in terms of consultation and potential things that need to be done to respond to sort of the state agency requirements.
Thank you.
You're on mute, Heather.
Unmute.
Yeah,
please.
Sorry. Okay. Yep. I should have rookie mistake. In your presentation on the slides, you said that you had a designated tree protection zone and mapped swift parrot habitat. Would you be able to, Bryony or Sarai, could we go back to the presentation? If on one of the drawings it shows your layout or master plan or whatever, could you just point out where those areas are in the concept?
Sure, yeah, if someone could flip back just to the master plan.
Yeah.
Do you know what slide number that is by any chance?
In the middle somewhere.
About halfway through, wasn't it?
I think it's the only one with a picture on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, scroll down.
She's just uploading.
Oh yeah. Okay. If you could just are you able
So
to bring it up a little
you
bit?
see down at the bottom.
Can we blow that up, please?
Bottom left-hand corner, there's that sort of dark hatched area to where the green leads into the site.
Sorry, we just lost the picture. Back one slide.
Might be forward one, yeah.
Oh, sorry, forward. Oh,
Yeah.
there, yeah. Are you able to bring it out a little bit or not?
Yeah, down in that bottom left-hand corner where the green hatching runs into our site, and then we've got some dark grey hatching in the
On the left-hand side, yeah.
Bottom left-hand.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's those two areas.
So that
that are
grey hatching there, that's
And that's because there's existing trees there.
Existing trees and mapped as swift parrot habitat.
And those trees remain? Is that the case?
Those trees remain, and then obviously additional supplementary buffer plantings and revegetation of that corridor that runs the full length of the city highway. The tree protection zone is along that top boundary where that grey hatching is, that's adjacent to the Crown land next door. There's no trees on our property. So the mapping extends onto our property, but there's no actual trees on our property in that location. So the tree protection zone is purely just to make sure there's no impacts on that adjacent vegetation, and those two areas are excluded from the biocertification, so there'll be no works in that area.
So we were not protecting tree. When you say tree protection zone, it's not
to protect the trees. It's to protect the trees on the neighbouring site.
We understood it was from it's an APZ for the bushfire reasons.
There's an APZ is the other hatching, so the
stipple
next to that. So just below that, so the grey
stipple,
lighter grey hatching.
I see. Okay.
So that's the APZ, and that runs from the edge of that tree protection zone.
And the tree protection zone, that's still zoned RE2 though, is it?
Only this, yes.
C2, isn't it?
Yeah, other than the bit that's in the C2, in the corridor, the 20 metre wide corridor.
So how does that, if it's not C2, I'm not saying that's the outcome that you'd want, but how do the trees get protected in there if it's not by zoning?
So it's not biocertified land, so we can't touch it once the biocertification comes through. There's also going to be a biodiversity management plan that sits with this as well, that sets out management requirements for the tree protection zone, the asset protection zone, and the other areas within the development. There's 3 zones, I believe, that it'll set out management for. So that's the general, I guess, approach, is that, yeah, that area, it is mapped on the SWIP habitat mapping, but there's no trees there. So that's why we've offset our ASIC protection zone from that. And there'll be no works in there which will protect the trees on that adjoining side to the, I think that's the east one, yeah.
So besides maybe getting reflected in the DCP, what is the mechanism? Is there a VMP that gets put on title to make sure that's managed forevermore as a tree protection zone? Is that, if that's how it works, or how does it get, what's the mechanism to ensure that happens forevermore?
Well, there is the VMP. That's a 10-year plan. In terms of the forevermore, I don't have the answer for that right now. Whether there's, it is still mapped as important habitat, that where that hatching is. So yeah, there won't be works. And I guess once the development is built, it is held in common ownership. There's no on-selling of bits and pieces of it off. People know the obligations. There's no intent to do works in that zone. It has specifically been excluded from the biocertification of the site, just to protect it, I guess, from future development.
Okay. And what's the width of that, the dark grey hatched area, the tree protection zone?
Oh, that's a good
20
question.
metres.
What was that, sorry?
No, it's
20
less than that. It was
20 metres is the
metres.
Pacific
20,
Highway
right.
one.
Okay, so
that's a
the
good
Pacific
question.
Highway one's not even there. I mean, I understood from the planning proposal report that we have, there's also a 20-metre strip adjacent to the highway of the
That's
same
what
status.
that's that white area. It's
White
not,
area.
yeah, so that's not mapped. We will be revegetating that in accordance with the Lake Munmora, Greater Lake Munmora structure plan to provide a connection between that land to the east and west.
So
And that
we
will
have an
the
attachment to the
C2 zone
report,
that runs
and
along.
there's a figure 1 on page 40 that actually has a hatching treatment along that adjacent to the highway. But anyway, we can discuss that with staff later.
Yeah, certainly, yeah, if we need clarification, please, we can. I just don't have the answers, off the
Okay. I mean, if that's 20 metres, it looks like 5 metres. I mean,
yeah, it's not super wide. It's basically follows the mapping of the existing habitat mapping.
So can I just talk, that white is there's 3 on the AEP biodiversity management plan. There's a very good map that will show you the different zonings, and it's on page 10. I can't show it to you, but yeah, it's on page 10 and shows you that the white area is actually the MZ1 biodiversity corridor. That's how it's differentiated. And then the next area becomes the SWIP parrot protection zone, which are those 2 areas that are hatched or cross-hatched. And then you've got the asset protection zone, which is the large area that sits outside of that cross-hatched zone that's dotted. So that would give you a
inside towards the site.
To that, yeah. So it's in the BMP report that's attached to the planning proposal, and there's a very good plan for it that shows you that.
I don't think we have it.
No, we don't.
Oh,
we can get it.
We can send that to you. Yeah, council have it. Yeah.
Yeah. And just on a different aspect, like there's a large concentration with the extension to the existing manufactured home estates. There's a large concentration of the affordable housing, and as you mentioned, there's an older demographic. Presumably, it's a affordability. It's a lower income demographic. We understand that you did a social impact study. I was just wondering what's the cumulative impact, the cumulative social impacts? Have you considered that of a large number of people being so close together? And I understand that you have mentioned that it's good to have a sense of community, but like impacts on the health services, community facilities, community transport. There's a large concentration now proposed to have the cumulative impacts being considered as part of this.
Sure. So the social impact assessment did go some way into addressing some of those things that you've just mentioned. It may comment that there are sufficient services to facilitate this development in terms of both medical facilities and community facilities. A lot of people, when they're moving into these downsizing and moving into these communities, they're doing so from within the local area, so they're not necessarily moving to the Central Coast into one of these. They're already existing residents, and they're leaving their larger house and downsizing into these communities, and they already have established doctors that they go to and things like that. In terms of the community facilities, I guess one of the benefits of these communities is they do provide on-site facilities, and this one will be no different. So they've got quite a large community centre where they can gather, and people can come in and run programs in there. They also normally have, pickleball courts and things like that, community gardens. So a lot of their recreation needs are met on site without having, a huge impact on surrounding recreation facilities. There's often also a community bus that can take residents out to different activities and locations, shopping centres, and sort of day trips and things like that. So yes, it has been considered, I guess, is the answer. We think that it's while there are some impacts, obviously, we think they're able to be sort of mitigated through on-site sort of management of the facility. And like I said, a lot of these residents are coming from within the local area. They're already using these facilities. They're not sort of additional, causing additional loading. But certainly we'll look at it more closely as well when we get to DA stage.
And also open space. It's very dense, and we can see there's a community centre. But I don't know. I'd like to see some like pocket little parks, like take out 4 lots and make some open space. And even if the older people have their grandchildren over, take them down to walk for the play equipment or whatever. Like, where's the open space in the plan?
Well, this is only indicative. This is just for the planning proposal. As you said, the lots are a lot bigger, and we have not ironed out in the DA detail what else will go in this area. So it's not as many lots as it's shown here at all. Community centre, we've just shown indicative, and there's different regulations.
So we'll be utilising that sort of APZ area on the top of the page there. There'll be walking trails and things through
it's
there.
It's a car park though, isn't it? I mean,
only a small part of it is a car park. There's some car parking, we're looking at sort of community sort of gardens up in that area and other facilities as well as we sort of go through more detailed.
Doesn't that conflict with an APZ though, when you're not supposed to have any vegetation much?
It'll comply with the code. It doesn't have to be sort of trees and things like that, but it'll comply with the vegetation requirements of an APZ. But there will be, like a community garden. It's just like a vegetable garden or something like that sitting in that area that you could do in an APZ. But definitely we can look at open space. At the moment, it's, I believe, we're sort of compliant with the regulations. I know that's subject to DA and council consideration, but under the regulations, there's a specific percentage of land area you have to meet, and it is meeting that at the moment.
Okay. And is there a future subdivision to separate the 2 sides where you said one's an extension to the existing park? Will that be a future? Or
already 2 lots, so it aligns.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Of course. So actually, the facilities like the dam thing you were mentioning before, that maybe, that could turn into a park recreation area, which I'd appreciate. But the people living in the northern lot.
So 41's definitely less resolved. There's been no work on detailed design on that one at all. The different, that's Lakeside Leisure Living, will be running that one.
So
working on another 31, but still very much in its infancy in terms of detailed design.
Okay, so it'll definitely operate as two separate estates. The people from the northern lot won't be able to access the dam area on the southern lot.
Correct.
Two separate lots remain. There's no lot consolidation.
Correct.
Okay, I guess I didn't appreciate that. Right, so it's two separate. It's in effect two separate planning proposals on two separate lots. Okay, got it.
Well, yeah, one planning proposal to rezone it, two separate DAs, I guess,
for two separate applications in the
for
future.
two separate. Yeah, correct.
Okay, and presumably you're working together now. You'll be working together in the future when the DAs get lodged.
Sharon, do you have any say? Probably.
You don't know, or you don't know.
No, that's just to be determined with the relationship with the other party.
Okay, so potentially one could happen now, one could happen later. There's no necessarily, we're not going to see this developed all in one go necessarily.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It'd be unlikely, I'd say, to see it all happen all at once.
Right. Okay, that was my questions. Any other questions from the panel?
No, thanks.
Okay, thank you. That's been very useful. Thank you for your presentation was very good, and thank you for taking our questions. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. And if you have any other questions, we'll be happy to answer those. Council or however you wish to do that.
Okay, and just sorry, Sharon, what organisation were you from?
Landstone.
Landstone. You're effectively the developer.
Development manager for Landstone, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, so we'll move on to our thanks for the patience, people waiting, but that was quite a significant proposal and we needed to understand what was going on. We have GA 1553/2024 for 639 Pacific Highway, Canwell. This is the erection of a telecommunications facility, which is a monopole and some ancillary structures. Nikita Pilbala for the applicant and Mitchell Flint for the applicant. Are you here?
Yes. Yes.
Bryony, would we be able to just go back to the screen? I don't. It distracts me to see all the other. I like to see the people on the screen, not the agenda, if that's possible. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And so, who are you from? We can see Nikita's got, or Mitchell's got something in his background. Downer.
So yeah, Mitchell Flint from Downer, the project manager on this one, and we have Nikita Pilbala, who's town planner. We're both from Downer.
Okay.
So we don't have a presentation in this time, considering the panel reviewed the council report, and there's been a site visit, we believe, earlier this week where there's support for the panel. The panel is supporting our proposal. We're just here to answer any questions that the panel might have and discuss a couple specific conditions we wanted to get further information around how they've been attached to our sort of draft conditions for if it gets recommended for approval. Okay, well, we can't say we're supporting your proposal because you haven't deliberated on it and we can't form any conclusions till we have. Yep. And we can't say that until we hear from you. Yep. So you can't jump to conclusions there. Apologies. I guess it's, so we do understand that there's a condition. The council staff alerted it to us about the condition about the easement. Yep. Is that your only concern? That one, and then I believe it is condition 2.6 and 5.7. So they're around the Water Management Act, submitting a section 305 and a section 307. I understand, I believe they're requirements, but we just wanted to confirm, because we don't have a water tap in or any water services, sewage services attached to our proposal. So we just wanted to confirm the requirement and need there. So I've just got the conditions on the screen. I don't know if it's possible to share, but I've got them up. So sorry, what were they again? 2.6 and 5.7. 2.6. So 2.6 says, this is where you have to get, it's equivalent to the Section 73 certificate for Sydney Water, is it? Because the council is the water authority. Yep. And you're saying you don't have any water services, so why do I need to talk to the council about that? Yeah, look, we want to
Okay.
make sure, if needed, obviously we can still proceed with this, but we just want to, I guess, a chance to discuss how this has come, or the
Okay.
requirement for us.
Well, I don't know. We know as a panel. Had you previously raised it with the council officers?
I believe earlier this week we might have spoken with our council contact, Nick. I think you could probably explain those conversations earlier.
Yes, I think that, yeah, we have Rebecca Sunways here as well. I speak with her and mentioned that because our scope of work doesn't include any connection to any water supply, so I don't believe that, it's necessarily needed. However, as Mitchell mentioned, we are willing to submit the application if the panel confirms that it's definitely a requirement. But considering that there is no connection to any sewage or water supply, we believe that it's not necessary.
Okay, so we can chat with, we will confer with the council's engineers later, the council staff. So you're saying if it's not necessarily, you just think the condition shouldn't be on there?
Yes, correct.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, and sorry, what was the other one? 2.6 and the next one?
It was 5.7, so it's just a secondary condition. So I think it's for the occupational certificate.
Oh, okay, it goes with that one.
It's a follow-up. If you don't have the first one, you won't need the second one.
Okay, all right, great. And then the one about the easement, is that still a problem?
Yes, condition 5.9.
Okay.
So we don't have any works, again, necessary with this existing water main or any of the council asset there. So it's just an opportunity to discuss this being tied to our development.
It's the one we've spoken to the staff about.
Yeah, we understand that there is a pipe off the site and the easements, the council engineers were proposing the easement because this part of the site would be potentially be in the zone of influence of the drainage infrastructure. Have I got that right? And it's quite a significant size pipe.
It is.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I talk to you about this
Thank
condition?
you.
Thank you. Yes, there is apparently a water supply pipe along the frontage of the lot. But given that, our understanding is that it's outside of our proposed location for the compound. So probably we can consider this as an irrelevant, matter to the scope of proposed work. So, with reference to the Newberry principles, we believe that it's not relevant to this proposed development. So we would like to request for removal of this condition as well. It's out of the scope of our work, so we don't, think that it's necessary that we discussed it with the landowner and, be involved in this conversation with the landowner for something that is not proposed by RDA.
Okay, we understand that position. Thank you. Is there any other questions about this application while we have the applicant here panel?
No, Madam Chair.
None from me, thank you.
I just have a question just regarding access to the site. Are you proposing a vehicular crossing, or is that part of your proposal as well? And parking area and so on? Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, so we've it's gone through the Transport for New South Wales referrals, and it's come back with some conditions around the width of the crossover, the turning circle for future RFS vehicles if needed, and some conditions there that we are okay to proceed with.
Okay.
Yes,
There's a condition there is they're not requiring approval under 138 of the Roads Act.
Yep.
Yes, section 138 will be submitted.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Nikta, you're going to say something else?
No, all good. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you. We'll take those points on board regarding 2.6, 5.7 and 5.9. We'll consider those issues carefully when we make our determination, and thanks for attending our meeting today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now we have our last DA matter, which is DA 988 of 2024 for 46 Nuremberg Road, Springfield, and I believe, oh, I've got the wrong names written down here. We have Jason Hopkins.
Yes,
or
correct.
Jason Mark Hopkins, if we want to
That's
get formal.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Jason, we have had a briefing on this application. We got a copy of the approved plans, but we understand. Oh, this is for a construction of a dwelling on the site.
Correct. Yes.
So we will have some questions, but do you want to tell us what's going on or what your proposal is? And I guess if you could explain the interaction with the existing consent you have and the existing buildings on the site.
Yeah. Okay. So the property was bought with an existing DA approval back through Gosford Council. It dates back a bit, but major works had already begun. Council had done site inspections and approvals on the slab for the current shed and all the retaining walls. Like the previous owners had done a lot of the preparation works on the property ready for DA. So the current shed that's on the property is as per the existing DA, but the house is something that we wish to change because it doesn't suit our family or what we will require in the future. My wife has a degenerative disease which will probably put her in a wheelchair in the next 10 years. Hence why we need a lift in the new dwelling, which is what has taken it over height slightly. So, but it's a lifestyle choice that we need, unfortunately.
Okay, that's good, thank you. We understand that there's, so when you talk about the shed, we were sent the approved plan. Sure, if is it possible, Bryony, to bring them up on the screen or not?
Oh, sorry, myself.
No, sorry, Bryony.
Yeah.
Bryony's on the phone.
I think
That's
she's
right.
taking care of it, Heather.
Oh, okay. All right, great. Thank you. I just want to, or even an aerial photo. On your submitted drawings, you have a notation that says something about existing dwelling you would like to live in temporarily while you're building, or existing garage to live in temporarily while you're building the other dwelling. And we understand entirely why you might want to do that. There may be some difficulty in us approving that as it's shown on the plan, because technically we can't approve two dwellings on one piece of land, but it's not part of this application to do so. Okay, these are your drawings.
Yeah, I can't see them at the moment. I know the drawings. I know the drawings.
Okay. Oh, they're shared on the screen, so you should be able to see them.
Yeah, it's cut off half. There, I can see it now.
Oh, okay, all right. So on this drawing here, okay, so we can see when your house is going. Yes. We can see that there's the other where it's got existing swimming pool. Yeah. That stays or that goes? That stays. That stays.
Yeah, that's.
And then it's got existing deck, that stays. And then we've got existing temporary dwelling to be converted back to garage. So is that was built as a garage, or that was already built when you bought the property, or how's that work?
The slab and all the plumbing was in place. When I bought the property, we ordered the shed as per the original drawings and plans.
Yeah.
So that was erected as per the previous DA, or the active DA, sorry.
Yep.
And that's the only thing that's been done on that DA application. Yeah.
Okay. And the drawings for the approved drawings that we were given, the copy of the construction certificate, 30th of August 2002, is like a 2-story structure. There's a double garage and there's stairs up to a rumpus area and concrete deck. Is it 2 stories as built?
I believe so. That's not, it's like I said, it's not a design we can use, and I don't believe it actually used the land to the best of its ability. So, it's not a house that we wish to build.
Okay, but it's already, sorry, I know that's not your house. No, the existing, it looks like lower floor plan of the garage. The garage structure was 2-story. Or am I getting that wrong? That's on the next slide.
On our new
plan.
plan.
I see. I'm misreading the plans. No, I'm misreading the plans. So the garage was attached to the house, but only the garage, not the rest of the house, was built. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay, thank you. There are my questions, panel.
Thank you.
No, Madam Chair.
Panel.
None from me, thanks.
No questions.
None from me, thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for. Have you seen the draft conditions of approval? Yes.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. They've been published on the agenda. You probably should have been afforded I mean, I don't think there was any other than what happens with that garage during construction or in the short term. There may be conditions about that, but I think otherwise are mostly standard conditions. We do have to resolve an issue about your height variation. So we'll have to talk to the council staff further about that, whether you needed a formal variation to the height limit. I know it's only minor. So we will have to get advice from council about that in terms of if there's any complication there, but we'll let you know.
No, I do. Like, I've been speaking to Everett in council. Yep. He's been awesome, by the way. But our height problem is mainly due to when it was submitted. Apparently, the requirements for that have changed. In the new requirements, we don't have a height issue. Apparently, it's just because it was submitted, and it has dragged on for a long time, unfortunately. So I think our biggest problem is a time frame more than anything, as opposed to the actual height. Like we've done shadow diagrams. We've made sure nothing's going to affect neighbours, and we're not even close to that anyway. Our nearest neighbour's 50 metres away. So I don't believe there's any issues. And we had about 6 different drawings to try and get that height down, but every one of them had a larger impact on the property and the environment. So as far as the impact on cut and fills, things like that, the current plan that we have with a slight over height definitely makes more sense for the property.
Okay. Your proposal, and it's good that you've made efforts to minimise the height exceedance. So I don't think we have any issues per se with that, but it's just a technicality of how it gets approved.
Madam Chair,
we've got a big look at. Yep, David.
Sorry, just looking at the attachments, and there are quite a lot.
It
is a formal SEP 1 submission that's been made. It's just in the attachments. The bottom of the page, it says clause 4.6 variation in the council's way of doing it.
So it's in the, so it was, okay.
It's in the attachments, and it is a formal SEP 1.
Okay, well, hopefully there
and
won't
it goes
be
through the right things.
All right, that's good. Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, that's all we have for you. Thank you for coming along. Unless anyone else has got any questions? No? All good? Okay, thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Now that we've heard all the speakers, the panel now adjourned to confer on the items. We, at the conclusion of the adjournment, will decide on the matters, and now I will formally close the meeting of the Central Coast Planning Panel. Thank you, everyone who attended. and took part. Thank you to the panel members, members of the community, representatives of the applicant, and of course to council staff, who are probably the only remaining people here. But thanks everyone. Do we proceed? And it's 1:25 p.m.
I think it's the
Do we continue on this?
The email this morning said we stay on, don't we?
Oh, we stay on.
No, we will need to attend the deliberation. Link,
okay. Can we have a short break?
This meeting is recorded. Absolutely. What time would you like to return?
I don't know. Is half an hour too long, or
what if we say 20 minutes? 1:45 on the 2:30 p.m. link.
Righto.
Is that all right with the panel? Is that long enough for a bit quick bite to eat?
It's pouring here, so.
Oh, really? Oh, no, it's not. It's usually pouring here, but it's not at the moment. Sorry, what time are we coming back?
1:45, if 1:45.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye.